Get this up and running. Lock and load. Better turn that down, otherwise we'll hear ourselves talk. Make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. That side looks all right. This side, better check. Anybody watching, just give me a thumbs up if you can see us on the Facebook, because the whole Facebook thing did a big tanty all of 10 minutes ago, and we just want to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Comment should be all public. Give me a thumbs up, somebody, whoever is out there in Facebook land. Give us a shout if you're watching on Facebook. Just leave something in the comments, just because my Facebook did a big crash a few minutes ago, and we just want to make sure everything's rock and roll for everybody, of course. And we'll be firing on all cylinders here in a few minutes. Just leave something. Yep, Facebook, beautiful. Thanks, Bruce. Legendary, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody in between, anybody who's playing the game tonight, I'm in a hell of a mood, which is always good for you guys in the audience. Sometimes it's Councillor Irvine who's all fired up. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes we're both fired up. Sometimes we're cruising.
We're always cruising.
Sometimes they're a little bit more intense with certain things that we're doing, but
sometimes we're 57 caddies and sometimes we're cruise missiles.
Absolutely. And it's episode 28 of Dean and Earth Spin Doctors. We're nearly at 30, which that's pretty cool. Of season 2, because technically we sort of did that first season and then we kind of rolled
I don't know what we're up to, actually. I tried to get some sort of nomenclature going whereby it was just episode 1 through to whatever. And then we had season 2 at 1, and then it was just
that a bit confusing. Episode 4,585. It is the best rated TV show in all of TV land, on a budget of 50 cents and $78.25 US.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. You better do your introduction, because you're the one who'll get into trouble.
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No. Well, I've been abiding by the Free Speech in Local Government New South Wales guidelines.
Yeah.
As delivered at the 3rd of June 2025. My name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a councillor on Temora Shire Council, but none of the views I express here are those of Temora Shire Council. They're mine and mine alone. As an independent citizen, if I talk about council-related stuff, I'll make sure I refer to the Free Speech in Local Government guidelines, and I'll make sure that I, to the best of my ability, represent the decisions of council. But surely I'm allowed to
have an opinion on certain decisions council makes.
The guideline seems to support that.
That's excellent. That's fantastic. I don't have any guidelines. I'm Dean McRae, and I absolutely don't answer to any of these sort of people. I'll say exactly what I think, when I think, how I think it, and I will be as honest, transparent, and as clear with you all as I possibly can. Sometimes that even hurts people's feelings, but I'm not going to apologise for it. Absolutely stand on my own 2 feet, and I make no apologies to anybody, and nobody at Temora Shire Council can be upset with me, because I'm not a member of Temora Shire Council. I just happen to live in the electorate. How lucky are they?
Oh, they can be upset with you.
Can they?
But they can't do anything to you.
Look, I have no doubts that if they really, really wanted, they could think of some really, really nasty, illegal type shit they could try and do to me. But beyond that, they're pretty well buggered, and I don't know if they've got the balls. Anyways.
It's an extraordinary document, this.
Righto.
But it's a precursor
to
the new Model Code of Conduct. Now, here we are, fair way into Mr. Honig's term as local government minister. Local government minister in New South Wales. So when did Ron get the gig?
About 2 years in, he'd have to be, wouldn't he? 3 years.
He's been the Minister for Local Government since the 5th of April 2023.
Right.
So let's write that down. So since the 5th of April 2023, Mr. Honig's been the minister.
Yep.
We've watched videos and we've aired videos on this channel
We have.
of Mr. Honig prior to assuming the role when he was in opposition as a Labor rep.
Yep.
Saying that the code of conduct process had been weaponised, it wasn't fit for purpose. So Mr. Honig's made it a goal of his tenure as local government minister to reform the code of conduct process. However, here we are in August 2025, and we're still waiting for the new code of conduct. Now, there was a draft put out late last year. And there's been multiple responses delivered in that space. But here we are on the 2nd of September, which is only weeks away.
Yep.
Mr. Honig's going to be before budget estimates again.
Yeah.
And they're going to grill him again. And they're going to say, where are you up to with this, Mr. Honig? Because we've watched the videos where Mr. Honig says, look, this is a really important thing and I want to get it right. He said that 12 months ago.
Yeah.
This is a really important thing and I want to get it right. We've had the draft. It's been out for comment. It's been back.
Yeah.
This document here is a precursor to it.
Yep.
When we had the meeting with the minister in Temora.
Oh, you look sad in the photo, I remember.
Yeah, but so did a few others, but I was the one that got targeted.
No, that would never happen.
Yeah, I did. I got
Targeting wouldn't happen. Not a chance. That
No,
would
I
never
got
happen.
targeted. There were other people who weren't smiling, but I was the one who was very unhappy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yes.
Anyway, I was very unhappy with the quality of the.
They would have taken
reporting.
60 photos. Click, 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 click. Oh, there's the one with Irvine looking the least happy. We'll use that one.
No. It was just, but even it doesn't matter.
I know.
Like, I'm not going to look happy in a photo like that. It's impossible.
Hey, come on! But there was political royalty next to Mr. Ron Honig and Mr. Rick Furman.
Look,
you don't understand how lucky you are. What an exalted position you hold.
We had a pretty cordial and productive meeting, and that you recall the program we did directly after that, and I said, Mr. Honig is like, he's been in this space for a long period of time. He's been a minister since 2012. So he's been in Parliament for 13 years. He was a mayor for 30 years prior to that, over 30 years prior to that. And his trade is a barrister. If Mr. Honig wants to be charming, he can be charming.
Fucking absolutely.
If Mr. Honig wants to put together some sort of a presentation to a bunch of country councillors in a very small council, he can.
You reckon he's got the skill set to pull that off?
Well, he certainly made a fair fist of it.
Did he? My goodness me. He's been watching some of our YouTube videos, getting some pointers from me over here with all my, smooth, eloquent, romanticised views on council.
Now, this guideline, even this guideline appears to have some sort of basis in the law or the Act. This guideline has been issued under Section 23A of the Act. Councils and council officials must take it into consideration when exercising their functions. This guideline is also to be considered by conduct reviewers when dealing with code of conduct matters that have been referred to them.
Well, you wouldn't have had a code of conduct matter referred to them, surely.
I'm the only person in Temora who's ever had one, and I've had 5 individual investigations with multiple charges in each.
Only 5?
5 individual.
I'm a little disappointed. Surely we can get those numbers up.
No. We've got better things to do, surely. Surely we've got better things to do.
You and I have better things to do, but I'm sure there are some other clowns that haven't got better things to do.
Now, let's just check. I just want to reference 23A. Like, so, just give me a minute. You can roll into off. The point being, here we are, over 2 years into Mr. Hoenig's tenure. We've done all the groundwork. We've done all the precursor work. We've got some guidelines in place. We're very close to the delivery, I would expect, of the new code of conduct model. There seems to be some residual matters being dealt with under the old code of conduct, yet it's very hard to see any benefit from doing so because the minister has come out and basically said the old model is broken.
Could have told him that. All he had to do was ask.
But he said that on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
The old model is broken.
Good job, Sherlock. That's why you're on the big bucks.
But how then can you sit back as the minister and allow the old broken model to be used against councillors consistently?
Well, that's because the same way, the Liberal Party can come out and say, we're going to vote down net zero, we're going to vote down net zero, right until the vote for net zero goes down, and then it's just poor old Barnaby standing there with his dick in his hand, feeling somewhat abandoned by his mates who proved without a shadow of a doubt that they are spineless, useless, and full of shit at a world-class level.
And it's so easy. Like, the problem is when they were in power, they didn't do it.
They did nothing.
Yes.
When they were in power. They did diddly dick. So to see Michael and Barnaby both stomping their little feet out on the hustings, if you will, crapping on about, we're going to oppose net zero, this is bullshit, this is whatever. Why would you only do that in, obviously, your last term? Neither of you two clowns are going around again. You were both deputy prime ministers for a period of time. Second most powerful monkey in the country, allegedly. And during that time, you were quiet as church mice because you've got no backbone.
Yes.
Not a limit of backbone, but now all of a sudden you go, shit, we need something to kind of, fuck, what do we do?
Yes.
The LNP's nearly dead.
Yeah.
We've killed it.
Elbows smashed.
Elbows smashing us. We're being beat by that retard. Life's pretty bad when a retard like that's beating you. Fuck, what do we do? What do we do? How do we stay elected? How do we become relevant? We stomp our foot about something, but then we refuse to commit to it and go over the wall at Gallipoli because we haven't got the nuts. Unfortunately, that's the political class. And
if they had had the principles when they were in office, they'd still be in office.
They'd still be in office if they could fucking hold a line on anything.
Yes.
I'd probably support them. I had a call from a very, I'm not going to say high up, but a significant member of the Liberal Party in Wagga at the last federal election. Come and help us. Come and help us. We need people in there that are going to hold the line and get like low taxes. COVID's bullshit. Climate change is bullshit. Stop interfering with people. It's pretty fucking straightforward stuff. It's what the Liberal Party was founded on. Australia first. But that's all out the window. Gone, bye, see you later. We're the Liberal Party. We don't know what we stand for other than we just want to get re-elected again. And you can only be Diet Coke for so long before people go, fuck it, I want the real shit.
Even if you do like Diet Coke, it's just purely, you've got to stand for something. And if you've got to take an opinion poll in the morning to decide what you're going to stand for, well, you don't rate.
You don't rate. And that's where these clowns are at. Like, what a bunch of stupid spastics.
Back to this guideline, here we are. This guideline has been issued under Section 23 of the Act, right? Now, Section 23 of the Local Government Act 1993.
Nobody's ever supposed to read any of this shit. That's why they make it 58,000
This is interesting, though. For the purpose of this Act, the Departmental Chief Executive may from time to time prepare, adopt or vary guidelines relating to exercise by a council of any of its functions. The Departmental Chief Executive may only prepare, adopt or vary guidelines relating to exercise by a council of functions conferred or imposed on the council by or under any act or law that is not administered by or the responsibility of the Department of Local Government if the Department has first administered or responsible for the administration of the other act or I've got to read that again, but I'll do it after.
Do it after. Yeah. I need
A
When-
council must take any relevant guidelines issued under this section into consideration before exercising any of its functions. The guidelines for the time being in force are to be made available to councils on request and on payment of such a fee, if any. Oh, well, we're not going to be paying for it. They may only prepare, adopt a very long the function concerned and post.
What have you discovered? You're looking like you're
Oh,
pondering very
I'm gonna
deeply.
read that. Look, the main thing is basically what they're saying is a guideline is a rule until we say it's not.
What about when I say it's not?
No, but if they actually produce a guideline,
Yeah.
and what they're saying is councils and council officials must take it into consideration when exercising their functions.
Yeah.
It would have been so helpful had this been in existence some time ago.
You'd reckon. I mean, it seems to be serving you exceptionally well.
Well, I think what this document does do, provided that I refer to it and abide by it, provides me immense protection from councils and council officials taking any frivolous
Vexatious and frivolous actions.
code of conduct
Yeah.
Complaints against me.
And for those of our supporters who are unlearned and want to know what vexatious and frivolous means bullshit, really. I'll translate that for you all day long, ladies and gentlemen. So
Well,
I tell you what, there's been plenty of bullshit. I've read the previous code, 200 codes of conduct these clowns have sent at you. And to be perfectly honest, I'd be racking them, stacking them, packing them, and sending them bye-bye, unemployed. Stop wasting my ratepayers' dollar.
well, the biggest issue is, of course, the first code of conduct was I got a code of conduct brought against me for responding to
Another council.
comments by another councillor on my Facebook page.
Yep. Now here's my
Now, so the other councillor never got a
anything.
code of conduct complaint. Yet the other councillor made, well, actually, the other councillor repeated a really upsetting and factually incorrect and abusive email that had been sent to me back in March 2021.
Yep.
Before I was even a councillor.
Yes.
So Temora Shire Council and the Office of Local Government didn't take any action back in 2021 before I became a councillor. They allowed those comments to be made and those actions to be taken. And then after I am a councillor, those comments are made and the actions are repeated. And they still don't take any actions against the individual attacking me.
No.
They actually take actions against me for defending myself.
Yes. And
So
look, I'm a bit of a free speech advocate. If said councillor wants to get on there and call you the world's biggest gun, I respect their right to do so. I also respect your right to respond by fuck off. But the way it all played out was no, it's okay for one, not okay for the other.
well, that seems to be the case.
And that's not how I roll.
That seems to be the case. Anyway,
Anyway, that's
this is the thing. Am I allowed to talk about that? Well, we don't know.
I know you're allowed. I've just
No,
authorised.
but I put in a GIPA request for the release of that final investigation report, and that's been granted.
Yeah.
So can we talk about it publicly or can't we? I've had some resistance from council. I've put in GIPA requests, and then they've said
Find it hard to believe you get resistance.
they
from
don't
the
give any.
council.
Oh, they don't give any public interest considerations against disclosing this information, but then they don't want you to release it.
Yeah.
So a bit of that stuff's probably still got to go before the Information Commissioner and be thrashed out in that space. But the problem is, of course, if you're open and transparent and accountable, none of this arises.
Of course.
So I've got absolutely no issue for every single thing that I've done in council to be GIP'd and to be publicly available. And there is absolute.
Are you trying to tell me you've got nothing to hide, councillor?
I give 100% permission to anyone to get any document that I've had anything to do with in council.
Yep.
Any resolution of council, any conversations, any recordings.
Are you
Mate,
on the Epstein flight list?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Just checking. Gotta ask.
No.
Did you march with the Palestinians on
No.
the bridge?
But if I did, I'd tell you.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
But if
okay?
it wasn't the Epstein flight list, I'd tell you.
Yeah. Look, so would I. But
But
fucking
I didn't, and I didn't.
didn't hear me either.
You know,
I didn't get involved. Apparently, I'm not important enough.
no. So,
But I know you're a bit further higher up
Oh.
the social hierarchy than little old me.
oh yeah.
An exalted councillor of the highest order.
So that's where we're at. And look, we're waiting with bated breath. There's a number of other councillors who are also being affected by these legacy codes of conduct that have been enacted, even though the minister has come out publicly and said the system's broken. You've got to wonder how the department, the Office of Local Government, can actually continue to flog councillors with a process that
The
minister has-
reality is a puppy can't clean up its own poo,
Well,
right? So the same organisation that broke the system, created the system, designed it to be a shit pool, aren't exactly going to go out of the way to pick up their own poo.
Well, it'd
It's just how it works.
be nice if
It's-
we had some sort of a guideline on-
it'd be lovely, but obviously
But-
it's not going to happen.
realistically, the minister should have put in some sort of a stay that all code of conduct investigations need to be suspended, or the process. He's come out publicly and said that the system is broken.
Yeah.
If you come out
Thanks for
publicly
that,
and
Captain
say the
Obvious.
system is broken, and then allow that system to be continue to be used, surely that's
You'd reckon common sense would say it, but look, that's government. There's nothing common sense.
there is
about
nothing
the whole
common
show.
sense
The whole
about it. I'm
show's
telling you, it is.
farcical nonsense,
But even
gibbering.
it's
morons.
it's gaslighting.
Well, that's very popular these days.
Hmm.
These days, very, very popular.
Hmm.
Now,
So anyway, budget estimates. If anyone has got insomnia, great cure.
it'll put you to sleep. for
They live
sure.
stream budget estimates, but also it'll be up on YouTube and you can go and watch it after the fact.
Oh, so they can make it live streamed.
It is live. Oh, they can make it live stream.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wonder if Temora Shire Council will solve that issue anytime soon. Not that I have any great desire to watch it, but I wouldn't mind when there's something controversial to rewind back through and go, hang on, what's happened here?
But even still,
Who said what?
if you had a matter that you were somewhat interested in, like I got stopped today by a person asking me questions about the DA that's been put in for a bottle shop in town.
Yep.
And they'd heard a couple of rumours regarding different elements of it
Yeah.
and asked me what I knew. And I told them. That person, because they've got an interest in this matter, would tune in, and they might not listen to the whole meeting, but they'd listen to that part of the meeting
Yeah, for sure.
to hear. And look,
The topic that they're interested in.
and this
That
is
they should be eligible to watch or hear about or see in firsthand if they so chose.
live streaming has got a great benefit.
Well, we do it live stream. Now, I've had people say, well, why don't you edit it? The only editing I do is at the end of the session, depending on the time frames, because there's only a certain amount there. I use the little edit buttons on here that basically cut it up. It's all automatic AI type caper.
Yep.
And it'll go through and cut it into little segments, and then I can roll it out. I'm not editing shit.
No,
Full,
you-
live, direct, unedited, no bullshit. If you want to call me out on anything, you can always rewind back and go, I didn't like what you said there. You can go back and go, oh, you were wrong on this.
Yeah, but my phone will tell me right now it's 7:53 p.m. on the 14th of August, and I'm pretty sure someone at home can look at their phone and it'll tell them it's 7:53 p.m. on the 14th. We're not even running with any sort of a 5-minute delay or anything.
This is now.
This
Here
is
now.
live stream.
Every now and then when the internet's a bit shit, you might have a 10-second sort of lag
Lag.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's no editing, there's no bullshit, there's no running and hiding.
No.
There's just exactly what there is.
I'm looking for some glasses because I've got to read something and I need glasses these days.
All right, well, that's fair and
The
reasonable.
fine print. The fine print.
The
Now,
the fine print.
well, the reason I think it's going to be really, really, really important. Anyway, I'm just going to have to wing it.
You'll just have to pretend you can see.
I'll have to squint.
You'll have to squint. Fair enough.
The reason it's really important is because you get reporting like this from the Temora Independent. Now, this is the Temora Independent today.
How's that shit show going?
Well, I don't know, but they're still up to their old tricks. And this is Tom
Does that
Gossip.
other- that
This is
other-
Tom. Plane trees to get the axe.
Right.
Now, there's going to be some
What's a plane tree?
they're a London plane tree. They're a species.
Yeah, right. Oh, there you go.
So there's a picture of one.
I
On the
figured
front
Temora being Temora had something to do with aircraft, or it
No.
was misspelt because
No,
this paper thought Elizabeth Taylor was in Temora
No.
at one stage. So
So Tom Gosling's weighted in here. Now, plane trees to get the axe. I'm telling you, Tom, they're not going to cut them down with an axe. Okay. These days they've got things called chainsaw.
oh, look, would we give him a bit of credit there and just say he was trying to be funny and use a turn of phrase?
I think he's trying to be a bit emotive.
Possibly.
Yeah, trying to whip up a bit of sentiment.
A bit of excitement.
Yes.
A bit of excitement. There we go. I can imagine.
Look,
This is down near the car wash. Yeah,
that one's at the car wash.
Right.
That one's at the car wash. Now, 30-year-old London plane trees next to the dog and car wash in Baker Street.
Just get a drill and pour a heap of bloody Roundup in the guts there. She'll be right. She'll fall over soon enough.
Well, you know.
Not that I would ever condone that sort of behaviour.
I certainly wouldn't.
But if somebody did do that, you know, like I'm sure it's happened in the past.
Look, the biggest issue is, of course, it's 30 years old. Some council 30 years ago thought it was a good idea to plant plane trees in Temora.
Yeah.
Now, if someone 80 years ago had have thought it was a good idea to plant plane trees around some of the big avenues coming into town or away from infrastructure, say around the perimeter of the showground.
Yeah, right.
Then that would probably be one of the most picturesque showgrounds in New South Wales.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You know, when you drive into that avenue of London plane trees in Narrandera when you're coming from Grong from the east, it's impressive.
Yeah, right.
When you
I
go
can't say I
down
spent a
to
lot of time there, but
Narrandera Sports Ground, they've got massive big London plane trees in a big open space, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
London plane trees can grow 30 to 40 metres high, and they'll have a spread of 30 to 40 metres.
Yeah.
So they're big trees for big landscapes in big open spaces. They're not the sort of tree that I think are suitable for an urban environment where you've got a lot of infrastructure. They also have leaves approaching the size of a dinner plate that they drop every week.
Yeah, I know the trees you're talking about. I can't say, look, I don't pay that much attention to
No,
that
but
sort
they
of shit.
can. Well, you would if you had one out the front of your house that was starting to lift up your front gate and your letterbox.
Yeah. Look, no doubt about it.
So this is, well, picture this. So
I'm picturing an axe with a plane and a tree.
So there were 3 requests for tree removals that came into council in the July meeting.
Yep.
The car and dog wash have got a problem when they're quite happy to have the shade in summer,
Yeah.
but when they drop their leaves in autumn, they just get these constant drain blockages and they have to keep getting a plumber back in, and it costs them a heap of money.
Yes.
So they said to council, would you consider removing them?
Fair question.
Council sat back and said, oh, well, they were there before. This was the argument that the council has put forward. They were there before the dog wash. Therefore, it should be the dog wash's expense to remove them if they want them removed. No, first they were going to say, you can't remove them. And I said, hang on.
You said hang on to the
Yes.
council.
Yeah, and we had a bit of a discussion about that. So then we got to the point where they agreed that they could remove the trees, but only at their cost. So if they pay for the removal, so I thought that was a semi-win, so I accepted that at the
Sometimes you've got to have a bit of give and take for sure.
at the Assets and Ops meeting, but I did a bit of homework between the Assets and Ops and the council meeting. Now, there's a big ironbark tree out the front of Temora Truck and Tractor Service that Temora Truck and Tractor Service applied to council to have removed.
Yeah.
Now, council agreed to remove that tree and council agreed to meet the costs.
Yeah.
Okay, but they won't remove these ones, the plane trees, and the owner has to, the applicant has to meet the costs.
Right.
Well, what's the difference? The ironbark's been there forever.
Yep.
Way before Temora Truck and Tractor Service. So their argument relative to that,
Well, it's cross-balanced out the other argument.
not existent, is it?
Look, yeah, you've
so
good for one, No, but not good for the other
Yeah,
because we
but
disagree.
believe it or not, council put a drain under the road about 10, 15 years ago, and apparently it's not working as good as it could. And it would suit council also to have the ironbark tree removed near Temora Truck and Tractor Site.
Yes. So this one suits us. This one doesn't suit
Well,
us.
but also just remember that ironbark was there when they did the drain too.
Yeah, right.
So when they did the drain, if the drain doesn't work now, the ironbark was there then.
Yeah.
And they obviously messed it up then.
Find that hard to believe.
And who's to say taking the ironbark tree out and redoing it again is good? Anyway. So I found that there was no consistency in that decision.
I'm stunned.
There's a row of trees plane trees that are fairly immature down Tenny FTS Street, which is the street that goes down into the Air Park Estate.
Oh, yeah.
Out at the old Temora Aerodrome.
Yes.
Now, there's damage starting to show up. Now, that Air Park Estate's only been there 20 years.
Yep.
And there's damage starting to show now from the roots of these plane trees where they're lifting up driveways and fences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Council have agreed to take 13 trees out there.
Oh, good.
But I know of other applicants who've had the same issues in Deboo Street, and council wouldn't take them out.
What possibly could be the variable?
I've got no bloody idea.
Yeah, right.
But finally, there was a little bit of common sense. And what we've managed to do is...
Now, come on. I'm turning the live stream off now. He's talking about common sense. We know.
No, what I've managed to have... Because they said, let's just take the plane trees off the register of trees we can plant. And I said, no. But let's just put them in a category where they can't be planted near infrastructure or in a tight urban environment. They need open space. There's absolutely no reason why you could not plant a London plane tree out on the hill near the lake, where it can grow and spread and be a big tree and live happily ever after. You know what I mean?
Happily ever after.
Yes. This idea of planting a massive tree in a small space and then forever having to go back and spend money on maintenance is, quite frankly, very, very poor planning. And it's just, for want of a better word, dumb. You know,
Fair call.
like we've got many examples in Temora where they've planted plane trees under power lines. And these things grow 30 metres high. Now, the power lines aren't 30 metres up in the air, though.
They're not.
No. So would you believe at some point we're going to have to do some very intense pruning and then repeat that pruning on a regular basis in order to allow this tree to exist under this power line? How about we just plant a more suitable species and just forget about it?
Well, that sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a very serious idea.
Well, the thing that frustrates me, though, is Mr. Gosling has managed to, and anyone who gets the chance can read this, but I'm telling you, it's as though all of Temora Shire Council thought of it just recently. And what can I say? There's a lot of councils that have been there for a long period of time.
No.
And have allowed these bad decisions to exist and have actually participated in many of them, I'd imagine.
I find that hard to believe.
And now that someone's come along who said, no, look, let's look at this in a common sense way, they've all jumped on and said, oh, yes, that's a good idea.
We always thought about that, but we decided we didn't.
Yeah, we decided we plant plane trees under power lines and no one had noticed.
No.
Look, I really just want people to read this for themselves, but these species, while historically popular, have proven problematic due to their large size and invasive root systems, the report said. Well, mate, you can Google. Like, even back then, 30 years ago, you couldn't Google, but you could surely talk to a nurseryman and say, how big do these trees grow? And he would have said, 100 foot, son.
Yeah.
They'd say, right. I'm not going to plant them under power
Let's not
lines.
do that. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, I had a fair bit of input into. I'm the only person in Temora Shire who put in a submission when the street tree policy was reviewed recently.
I do recall. I do recall.
So
I
18
we
months ago, 2
we
years ago.
spoke about that on this program, either here at the radio
Yeah.
station before we were unceremoniously removed.
Yes, and now all of a sudden
Well,
we've got all these changes to the street tree policy.
All very exciting.
Well, it is exciting in that people say to me, why do you do it yourself? Why are you bashing your head against a brick wall? When you go to council, they make a heap of decisions that aren't very sensible. And you're obviously quite frustrated. But here we are, winning.
Look, I feel the same way. I've had quite a few people over the years as I've been doing this. Well, you run for parliament, you get a couple of thousand votes or whatever you get. What's the point? Wasted time. You'll never get elected. Thank Christ. Right? I just want to change the conversation and pick the fights as necessary. Now, Big Stretch here's just put out a comment. We're one of the only town to plant trees on the road. Street sweeper doesn't fit between the gutter and the tree, so gutters don't get cleaned on a regular basis, and the damage to gutters, driveways, as mentioned. Smaller machine like West Wylongs would be a great investment for council if we're going to continue planting trees on the roadway.
Yeah, and not ripping out the ones that are there. The biggest issue we've got, Heath, is a lot of this stuff evolves, and there's been little planning, little forward planning. And you get all these weird situations where you'd think that 9 people in a room would make a sensible decision, but they don't. Honestly. And I've got the best example of that, where I sat in a council meeting and I argued against. Council wanted to put contaminated fill on a clean site.
Well, you got to put the contaminated stuff somewhere, you know.
They had a request from the Antique Motor Club to donate 90 cubic metres of material that had been excavated out of Hoskin Street when they did the roadworks. And it contained hydrocarbons and potentially asbestos and potentially. It's classified as solid waste.
Yeah.
And I was the only person in the room who thought there was a problem with putting that material on a clean site.
Yeah.
So people will sit there and say, surely with 9 people, you come up with a...
No, God, no.
You don't. We sat there. Now, would you believe that after that meeting with all the points I raised, council officers went and investigated the pros and cons of what they were proposing, and they opted to deliver
a different type of fill. Oh,
yes.
Shocking.
Clean ridge gravel.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thought that a council rethought the idea of putting contaminated fill on a clean site?
Well, yeah.
But this is the thing where you start to really lose faith in the system when you've got people who are experts in their field making decisions of that.
I always, when I see people use the term experts in their field, I just imagine Beaker from Sesame Street running around looking fucking confused.
No, but there are people like, if you come to me and you say to me, you ask me a question regarding signage and I give you my best advice.
Yes.
And if I know all of the
facts and you make a decision based on that,
the parameters, I'll give you my best advice, and generally, without blowing wind up my own arse, it'll be within QE.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the more experience you've got, the less right you've got to say.
Sure. Of course. A bit like, when mayors fuck up their how to vote cards after being in power for 20 years or whatever the number is when we work it out. Yeah, that sort of thing. So you lose the right to have
the longer you've been, the more experience you have, the less opportunity you have to make a blue.
Yeah, and the less excuse you've got to go, oh well, sorry, I didn't know it was my first day.
Yeah.
My first time, I'm trying my best.
My first 30 years as a public servant.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I'll get it right in the second.
Yeah. Like these people are full of shit.
Well, it's just so blatantly obvious that you can't put contaminated fill on a clean site.
Yeah.
Yet 8 other councillors and
Thought that was fine.
officers of the council all thought that was okay.
Dummies.
So anyone who thinks it's easy to sit in a room when decisions like that are being made, that's probably the hardest part of being on council.
Yeah.
Is when you're sitting in a room and an obvious bad decision, it's like a slow train wreck and you're watching it in slow-mo and it's just like, oh my God, can't you see this?
Apparently not.
And they can't. And they participate in it. And you're sitting there and you're watching grown people who are supposedly sentient beings making these decisions that are so quite obviously wrong. And that is an obviously wrong decision to put Phil that clearly has a very high likelihood of containing contaminants onto a clean site.
Yep. Aaron Douglas has said we have trees planted on our main road through our rural town. 15-minute smart city thing. Sales pitch is to green the place and create shelter and cooling, but not really. Just to narrow the road obstruction and condition us to go nowhere. 30k zones that will morph into car free and
Jesus
stay home
Christ.
zones. I reckon. Fuck. I was going to go off on another tirade, but these 15-minute city ideas are fucking communist shit.
They are, but the idea of having trees in your town's not a 15-minute city thing.
Not all of them, no, but there is a lot of them you can see this planning, and you can actually see. Again, I'll get called a conspiracy theorist here, but I used to read articles many years ago about your Agenda 21 and Agenda 30 and things like that. And when you look into them, and you can do your own homework, because I'll get called crazy again, have a look at it and then look at where we're at, and you go, fucking wow.
Yeah, there's an element of that, but there's also this other element, and this is where I want to get back to. We do need to live in a 15-minute city, which is a 15-minute community, where the milk you drink is produced 15 minutes away, and the eggs you eat are produced 15 minutes away, and the vegetables you produce are made 15 minutes away. And you exist in this community where you've got space to exist,
Sure.
and you can have trees, and you can have animals, and you can have a community, and you can interact.
Yeah. But the problem is with this 15-minute city thing, when you look at it, is it won't be voluntary. You're looking at, there are places in Germany now, and Brazil, I think was the last one I read, where you don't get to leave your 15-minute city.
No.
There is no jumping in your car and shooting off the CUDA.
It's a lifestyle choice.
Look, if you want to go and live like hippie in a commune and turn it into a whole community, I'm all for it. Hey, great, as long as it's full 100% voluntary association.
Yes.
But I can tell you, the 15-minute city plan that Aaron here is talking about doesn't involve the voluntary part.
I went to a sporting organisation on Saturday and I bought a raffle ticket.
Did you?
And I brought home a box this big. And I'll give him a plug from Vinnie's Fruits at Narandra.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I have had the best time so far this week partaking of this.
This box.
Vinnie, there were quinces in it.
Yeah.
I've never eaten quinces in my life. I had to sit down and figure out how to even process a quince. Now, believe it or not, the best way to do it is you've got to poach them and make them into like some sort of...
You're turning into a real little chef. I got here the other week and you were dissecting a fucking deer on the front thing. You had your helmet on with your light and you were getting stuck into it.
Well, to that end, we're getting serious.
Well,
I got a bone saw.
I might opt to borrow that. I've got a few things coming up where that could be fucking handy.
Enterprise. But there was a dragon fruit in it. Now, I've never eaten dragon fruit in my life. All these unusual things that you just...
Yeah, I dig it. Oh, the illustrious Andrew Thaler has joined us with, if you have to queue up in a line for longer than 15 minutes inside of a 15-minute city, does it stop being a 15-minute city?
Well, I think so.
I think it does. Then it turns into a 25-minute city or a pain in the ass city.
I've got a theory that as soon as a town gets big enough that it needs traffic lights, it's too big for me.
I call them stoplights, and all my city friends go, "What the fuck is a stoplight?"
Yeah,
like that's where they tell you got to stop.
Yeah,
you mean traffic lights? No, that's not traffic lights. That's they're telling me to stop.
They're stop. Then you got to stop and wait.
Yeah, they're stoplights. I don't like stopping.
Yeah, stop and wait in line.
I'm not good at that shit. Now,
but this is where we're getting to this intensive
It's people farming, is what it
Yes,
is, and they can
intensive
fuck
people farming.
off with it. It's what they can do.
But the
I'm-
people who will actually go into those pens,
Oh, and some people will love it.
yes,
We saw that through COVID. Some people are going to love that shit. They
Even-
love the security of
But
not
even-
being secure, but imagining that you are.
but even people are opting to live in a gated community. Can I live in a cage? Why do we need to live in a
White lights.
why do we need to live in a cage?
Well,
People are opting.
because people are breaking into pricks' houses and you're not allowed to fucking shoot them.
Well, this is
Allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly, you're not allowed to shoot
but
them.
isn't that a warning sign?
They're definitely
to,
breaking into houses. We don't need to
No,
question that.
but isn't that a warning sign to the people planning that say your community doesn't feel safe? They're building compounds.
Yes.
They're building compounds within.
Compounds to try and keep fucking lunatics out who can't afford
And
anything
There's
because
gated
the whole
communities-
country's
but There's
broken.
gated communities. I know there's a gated community in Albury.
Well, you know,
And Albury, to mine, is a country town.
you'd reckon. Would reckon so.
Like it's the size of a city, but a city in Australia, not a city on a global sense.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we be better off trying to address the?
You still have some faith in any of these pricks.
Well, no. I've got faith in people, not politicians.
Even that's leaving me a little bit thin on the ground. I've had a
Look,
couple.
I agree. There are
Stop.
there are a certain look. When I talk about this community and these people, I'm talking about a select amount of people.
That sounds elitist.
Well, it is illegal. These are people who've still got the power of
Autonomy and the willingness to sort of use their own brain, heaven forbid.
and to just exist under their own steam and not be dictated to.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've always said that if you're going to live in a community, it's really good to have a basic set of agreed rules that everyone's going to stick by, just so that the community runs along fairly smooth
Yeah.
and people aren't offensive to each other or
My,
don't break
my,
the social norms, but realistically, keep the rules to a minimum.
my basic rule is don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you, and that'll be fine. But that sort of ends up expanding as we go along.
Well, of
through.
course it does, because then there
Yeah.
are other elements of it. Whenever you've got any shared resources, there has to be some sort of an agreement around how those resources will be shared.
Shared, apparently.
Yeah. So, like I say, the 15-minute city. I'm very much I grew up in a country town. We've always processed our own.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff within 15 minutes if, you know.
Yeah.
And to be fair, in Wagga, just about everything's 15 minutes from one end to the other, really. There's not much that you're going to go much further than 15 minutes.
Yeah,
for,
but
to be fair.
but I still believe Wagga, there'd be people there who have got no concept of the origins of their own food. And
there's still plenty of fuckwits getting around who think brown cow is what causes chocolate milk.
but even
These people are retarded and they think that to stop climate change, they need to stop all farming and we'll just get our food from the supermarkets because they are that dumb.
yes.
And there is a massive element of people that are that fucking
But even the
stupid.
supermarket, the whole supermarket mentality is a mechanism which
It's a feedlot. You're going in there to collect your food like a good bunch of cows heading in to do A, B, and C.
but also what it does is it limits the markets for the growers, and it disconnects the
people from their food.
it disconnects the
and their-
final user from and it puts an interface between that.
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
And then Coles and Woolworths tell the grower what we want, and we want tomatoes that taste like tennis balls.
Yeah,
But they've got to be red and they've got to be hard. And they've got to last in the fridge for a month. Well, tomatoes don't do that.
no, not real tomatoes.
No. So that's where I believe that there is a lot of people that I'm, as we've said before, I'm just trying to spend my time with people who are good value and a similar mindset.
Well, I mean, you get to hang out with me every week.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what
life doesn't get any better than that for anybody.
But even you go to your place, turkeys, goats.
Now, turkeys I got rid of. They're a pain in the ass, and the goats will be going in the pot next week. I think's the
Oh, well-
plan. But we'll have some goats soon.
Well, that's what I mean. So
You know,
all that stuff Yeah,
I had to give up on the garden. I'm just not home in enough daylight hours to bloody do that shit. And Ryder's pretty lazy with that caper.
the only way you'd pull it off, I think, would be to have a massive big greenhouse and some sort of electric lighting system where you could.
I'd need to just chain some bugger up out the back there and say water the plants, but it's just not going to happen.
No. So the only other thing you could do is to turn it over to some sort of a community element of it, and have others use your land for the production, and you could take some of the produce as a.
Yeah, and you know what? If anybody wanted to go in there and start building gardens and look after them, it actually wouldn't bother me, as long as I kind of like you.
You've got to have a degree of trust with these people, but that's what I'm talking about. Is and
I know you're the hippie of the two of us. You're a little bit more there.
No, it's just purely there are people in the community that are really good value, and they have got the. I just believe they're a little bit closer to. Like, what do you need? You need food. You need shelter. They're your two main things, and they're the two things that the whole society seems to be making it really hard to get.
That's interesting, that, isn't it?
You know what I mean? A lot of the food, when you actually break it down, contains a heap of poisons.
Yeah, well, chemicals are apparently very popular now.
Yeah, so you've got a really suspect food supply, and they're basically making shelter unobtainium.
Yeah.
Through HIA, the Housing Industry of Australia, put out a report. Now, the average cost of a home in Sydney is in excess of $1 million. The HIA report makes claims, and it doesn't go into detail, that they believe that the planning and the regulatory taxes and the stamp duty and all the rest of it account for about 50% of the cost.
Without a doubt, of course.
That's
gangsters and thieves.
Well, that's pretty disgusting, isn't it?
Well, that's one word. I've used quite a lot of other words for those sort of shit shows in my time, that's for sure. There you go.
Yeah, the report. Yeah, and this report shows that 576,000, or half the cost of a new house and land package in Sydney, is government taxes, regulatory costs, and charges.
Somebody's got to pay for the useless parasites in government.
That's right.
Somebody's got to fund these dead shits rolling over here from the Middle East or wherever, who don't want to get jobs so they can get on our welfare. And then somebody's got to fund our useless portion of the population who are too lazy to fucking work. Because if we didn't look after these poor buggers, how would they get by doing nothing?
Well, then, when you consider we're paying 50% of the cost of a new home in regulation and taxes, then I think there was a figure that said something along the lines of about 60% of new apartments have got serious defects. So we're paying top dollar for all this regulation, and they're not regulating.
Fails to do anything of any value. Oh, councillor, why? Right?
Because we've sat
when
back.
We discuss these things, I get crankier and crankier, and I'm already a little fucking ray of sunshine. My sunny disposition keeps me famous, you know. That's why people fucking watch this show, is because I'm always so happy with shit like this.
Here we go. We've got a report here from the ABC. New South Wales government survey finds more than half of newly registered apartments have had at least one serious defect.
And speaking of useless taxpayer-funded entities, the ABC is right at the top of the list. Save us $1 billion a year by getting rid of that shit.
We've never had more regulation, and we've never had more shoddy construction. What's going on?
Well, they're fucking useless.
Well,
that's what's going on. They're feathering nests, and they're fucking useless.
So can't we sack the government?
Okay, hallelujah! I would love to.
Well,
I'm
not doing their job.
None of them are, but nobody else wants to do their job because it's a shit job. Ruling over others it's for the lowest of the low. The only people who want to do it are the psycho lunatics.
The Building Commission is developing a heat map to identify where risky players are working. I'd say in the Building Commission.
I'd say start at Parliament House and then work into your commissions and work into all your other regulatory bodies, work into your insurance companies and your banks.
As Australia grapples with housing affordability, New South Wales is at the forefront of another crisis sweeping new builds. Like, since 2016, more than half of apartment buildings registered in the state have had at least one serious defect. That is unheard of. That is just unacceptable. And there used to be certification done by councils. They've put it out to private certifiers. The private certifiers are then...
Well, I don't have any more faith in councils doing it than I do private certifiers. You might as well pay a private monkey as opposed to some council monkey.
Surely you've got some recourse to go back to the government and say, you're the regulator.
No, they just tell you to fuck off. They did it through COVID. They do it any other time.
Not our fault, not our fault, not our fault.
They're all in the boat of, there's no transparency, there's no accountability in any of these mobs. The whole country certainly is currently packed up with spineless people who have no courage, no backbone whatsoever. And this is the sort of shit we get across the board in just about every fucking arena.
And here we are in this housing crisis, housing affordability crisis, and a shit housing crisis.
We're in a government.
Even the ones they're building are shit.
We're in a government affordability crisis, and
that's what the crisis is.
Absolutely, that's what the crisis is. Problem starts, stops there. Get rid of them, tar feather. Let's get that shit sorted.
Well, that's what it boils down to. And the sooner people actually take the blinkers off and go,
won't happen in my lifetime, and I'm assuming I'll probably die a little bit after you. You got a couple of years on me. Who loves you? Somebody calling me names?
No.
It's
all good.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm just checking because it's picking at me.
I've been chomping at the bit for weeks, months now to touch on a topic. Now, I touched on it originally on the program. So I was around back when Matthew McDermott hung himself.
Yes.
So I was in the middle of that fast. When I say I was in the middle of that fast, that was a school teacher. So for those of you who don't know, there's a book. I'm happy to lend it to anybody. There's a few copies rolling around. Matthew McDermott was actually, I believe he was a priest before he arrived in the wonderful, friendly town of Temora. And he...
No, he'd studied to be a priest, but he
left the priesthood.
Because he grew up in Sydney. He'd moved to Temora as a
school teacher,
young school teacher.
Yes, but he'd done studying seminary or whatever they call it. I'm not a religious enough man to know the details. Anyway, he moved to Temora, and I had a little bit to do with him. Now, I reckon my old man was a reasonable judge of character. I don't think he would have been too kindly if there was an unsavoury fellow sniffing around too closely to...
that's the book.
That's the book. If anybody wants to copy the book, let me know. I'm happy enough to... I think I've about 3 or 4 copies still floating around. Happy to share them around. Why this is coming up now, right? I take allegations of sexual assault extremely seriously of all times. Now, I'm not in the Believe All Women Club, and I'm not in the Believe All Men Club. Some men have no business being anywhere fucking near children or women or anybody whatsoever and can't be trusted as far as you can kick them. And sometimes children do silly things, stupid things, perhaps even. Now, I was around where this man ended up hanging in a tree.
And I think the the outcome was that there were some allegations made against him. He received no support during that period.
There were false allegations. He received no support. He received a certain amount of harassment that was unjust. I ended up in the back of a paddy wagon quite a few times with a certain police officer who'd taken a shine to my inability to not call out their bullshit. I didn't have internet at the time. Bit of a shame. I would have liked to have been commentating then in my 13, 14-year-old age bracket. Anyways, where we're currently at is we've now got, I'm not going to say similar, but we do have a situation locally, and it's blowing up, and I have no doubt whatsoever that people are hearing all sorts of rumours, bullshit, innuendo. There is a case pending, I believe. There are court hearings, all that fun stuff. And there's children involved, young girls, and it's pissing me off because I'm currently seeing adults, grown fucking adults who should know better, gunning for these children. Absolutely gunning, making up complete bullshit. Just coming out with it. If you're going to make up lies and bullshit, I'm going to have a fucking problem. I'm going to have a serious problem. You want to have a go at me? I put a big target on my front and on my back all day long.
Hmm.
Come gunning for me, anybody you like, not a problem at all. But I'm seeing this shit being they're gunning for children.
Hmm.
There have been allegations that I'm going to say that there's a hell of a lot more smoke than there's fire than what there was in this situation. And here we are, where somebody who's been extremely brave is being attacked by adults in this fucking town.
Hmm.
Now, this town has a real bad habit of going quiet when things get a little bit rough. Things get a little bit controversial. They shit the bed and whisper. And, oh, fuck, I don't want to upset. I don't want to offend. Or I've changed my mind because, somebody confronted me with a topic, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I saw this happen, but I won't go on the public record and say.
I'm not going to say shit about it, but, and then
I've got to live in this town. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, I've got to live here.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but if you do.
But if you like living in a town that's got a heap of secrets and a heap of covered up shit, well,
you're
going the right way about it.
That's correct. And currently, some of the stories I've heard in the last 24 to 48 hours regarding attacks on this one child in particular, disgusting. Happy to put the gloves on. You can get fucked. I'm not going to hold back on any of this sort of at this case. But now the police are going to do their job.
Yeah, and I think
I'm being very careful about what I'm saying here because I'm filthy. I am absolutely seething, ropeable, and we all know I've got a bit of a temper, and I take all sorts of shit personally. Adults making up bullshit, outright lies about fucking children because they haven't got the balls to own their shit or haven't got the balls to come gunning at an adult. And I suppose there'll be some photo of me in the nude 20 years ago that'll resurface because somebody's feelings are fucking hurt. Bring it. I don't care. I'm done with this bullshit from these people. Now, there is an AVO in place. Again, I'm not going to name names. But if I see that AVO violated again, I'm going to be making a fucking song and dance about it. Right? It's the police job to do that. And I think our police try really hard to do a good job.
Yeah.
I think they do. I don't always agree. But I think overall, the police we have in this town at the moment, pretty good. I'm not going to piss on their leg. I'm not going to tell you I love you all the time, guys. But I am going to say overall, I think they're pretty fair and reasonable. So I'm not going to piss on your leg with this. But if there's an AVO in place for 50 metres and that 50 metres is violated, I want to know who's fucking policing it, who's stopping it, and why in the world this child's got to be shitting bricks over adults who, one, lie their fucking asses off, to two, protect somebody who I've heard many, many nasty words about. I only know what I know. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to start attacking fucking kids, no different to people attacking other people who want to stand up for the right things. I'm going to stand absolutely fucking solid next to this child and any other child and any other family that has a problem with this stuff. I will absolutely fucking go on the attack with you, for you, next to you, and I will make sure you are safe if you are under any sort of threat. I'm fucked if I'm going to stand for it. All right, our children do not need this shit. So I'm pretty pissed off to the people who are going to watch, and I know it's all going to be shared around 100 miles an hour, right? Absolutely fuck you for being, one, predatory towards children. So if you're watching this and you're a predator towards children, fuck you to the moon. You deserve whatever misery is heaped upon you. I'm going to call it karma when it hits you like a fucking train. If you're protecting these people, fuck you to the moon. I don't have enough friends to give a shit. I never even thought about winning a popularity contest. I don't fucking care. If you are hurting, scaring, intimidating children. Now, children do all sorts of wild shit amongst themselves. If I had $1 for every time my kid comes in and so-and-so's an asshole and blah, blah, I'm not going to start jumping up and down about it. Kids are going to fight. They're going to argue. They're going to be friends the week later. That's different. Adults targeting kids, though, this is a fuck you to the moon scenario. And again, if you want to bring it on someone, I'm a big target. Have some courage. Go on. Don't pick on a teenage girl. Come gunning for me. I've got no problem. I'll do it all fucking day long. I'm not afraid of the former deputy prime ministers. I'm not afraid of the government. I'm not afraid of fucking shonky coppers, right?
Hmm.
If you're gunning for these fucking children, I'm really just done with it. We had front page news of a whole different case from what I understand of this shit happening in town. We've had other cases over the years, and we've had false allegations that have absolutely ended up in a man's death. So I take this shit fucking seriously. So if you're protecting it,
it's not a space to be frivolous in. When you enter this space, it has got to be real, and it's got to be very, very, very.
I've had a couple of conversations in this space, and again, not going to name names. Some people are going to be going, "Oh, we know who it is." Good for you. It's not necessarily a secret because all the little Chinese whispers bullshit, the little Temora, fuck, we're the friendly town right up until we don't get our own way or something fucking ruffles our feathers. I've had conversations, and I've been very, very blunt with participants in this space about how real this all is and what's happened. And I'll say I'm relatively satisfied that from my personal experience with this experience, I feel that they're telling the truth. Therefore, they have my full, committed support. And for whatever it's worth, I will do everything I can to protect these people. Now, the fact that they're being, intimidated, bullied, harassed from not only dickhead kids who are obviously hearing what they're hearing around the dinner table from, as far as I'm concerned now, dickhead parents. The fact that adults are now getting in on this fucking game directly, it's going to get rough. I'm going to have plenty to say about it. And, I'll say it to your face. I fucking don't care. If you've got nothing better to do than target and pick on children in this town, I don't care if you're not going to want to be my friend. I'm not going to be sad. My feelings won't be fucking hurt. I will look at you like you're pretty fucking low. Because, honestly, our kids deserve better. No child deserves any of that shit. And certainly I don't endorse if they're false allegations, but all evidence. And they're far more thorough nowadays than what they were back in those days where it was guilty till proven innocent. Now it's the other way, probably too far, where there seems to be more than enough smoke than fire. And, but hang on. And then we'll do this and then we'll do that. No, but you've got to hang on a minute. There's a difference between being too cautious and going, fuck off, guilty. And I tell you what, I'm making it very, very public, very, very clear, because that's how I fucking roll. And people go, oh, well, won't it hurt your businesses? Listen, if you don't want to do business with me because I'm not going to fucking appease somebody who touches children or supports touching children, keep your money. I don't fucking care. Am I wrong?
No. Principles, quite often your principles cost money. Principles aren't cheap. And anyone who will forego their principles for money doesn't deserve to be considered in.
No.
Yeah, so
I'm
quite
happy to have. And I'll say this while
this
while I'm rocking and rolling. I've heard a couple of stories today in this vicinity of some other people who've sort of gone, no, fuck it, that's bullshit, and stood up.
Yes.
Now, you and I sit here quite often week on week, and we go, fuck, if you want to stand up, stand up. If you need to feel brave, feel brave. If whatever you need to do. So I heard some things today that, as cranky as I am, and I've been stewing on this for months, right? But after hearing about, obviously now, the children being targeted, not by children, but by fucking adults, it's like, okay, well, all right, I better even the odds a little bit. To hear of a couple of other adults going, that's fucking disgusting, and that's fucking bullshit, made me a little warm and fuzzy.
That's it.
If we walk past these types of shit, they're going to get worse. They're going to hide more. They're going to get a bit more excited. Oh, fuck, look what I can do. Look what I can get away with. And nobody's going to do shit because nobody's got the balls to call it out. The only reason I'm not calling this out by name, by fucking detail, is because there's court cases pending, and legalities.
And
I don't want to impede police doing their work.
And again, you have to be mindful of the damage that
Correct.
Yeah. So
I'm
You
not.
have-
I'm not going to come out and name and shame and whatever.
No.
But apparently, it's okay to do it to a child.
yes. So you need to obviously you need to do whatever makes you whatever you see fit. But to my mind, it is one of those situations where you have to sit back and allow the process to.
Well, and that's where I'm at.
Yes.
And the only reason I'm even verbalising this tonight is because
There's
now
been
the children are being attacked by
some
adults.
stupid shit going down.
Adults want to fucking get into
That needs
this
to be-
little space.
And that needs to be called out.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to do it because I don't fucking care.
Yeah. And if you haven't known names, the people that you're referencing would know who they are. They're the ones who've taken the actions. They're the ones who are on notice.
Absolutely.
And it is good to see, as you just pointed out, that there are other people in the community who are of the same mind of you as you, and are prepared to come out against this stuff.
As you in this space that we're in here, where we do this week in, week out, sometimes it's very lonely.
Oh,
Very lonely. Obviously, we found a friend,
Mm.
but it's very lonely to have such rock solid principles that you put yourself out there, you take the blows, you take the shots, whatever the fuck you've got to take. And I know some people are going to go, oh, language, Dino's on. But on this one, sorry, guys, tough shit, right? I got nothing left in this space. I'm using all my superpowers to not name names and not lose my shit and go, are you kidding? But it's very lonely in that way. I'm comfortable there, but it is lonely to kind of go, I know I'm standing for something that's right, something that's just, something that's correct, and everybody else will whisper,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, you're right, but fuck, what if there's blowback? Okay, I'm saying comfortably, I will cop whatever blowback comes, as usual. I'm happy. I'll chew it up, spit it out. I don't care. Again, put a big target right here if you want to. Leave the fucking children alone, you spuds.
yes.
Okay? And if it continues, I'm going to come out every week, and eventually I will name names, and I will go to town, and I'll go, fuck it, let's do it. I'd much rather the police handled it. I'd much rather internally, I guess it was more rap, stack, packed, and jail time where appropriate, even if it's anytime somebody goes to jail, there's collateral damage and it hurts and it's sad. It's not good. I get that. I understand. But there's also collateral damage from some fuckwit or multiple fuckwits, as the paper has told us. Apparently they're roaming freely in the fucking community and aren't frowned upon. You and I get frowned upon sometimes, but it's all right. You violate a few children and it's okay. Oh, look, you don't want to hurt their feelings. It's some bullshit. And I'm being as politically correct in the circumstance, I think, as I can muster.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a wise place to be because.
Well, I wasn't going to not address it.
No.
And I'm not going to not make it fucking known that I'm not going to stand for it.
Yeah.
I'm also, I know certain police watch this show. I know they do. I know that certain government officials watch this show. I know people who really, really like you and I and our positions watch this show. And I know people who hate our guts watch this show.
Oh.
So do what you want to do with that. Those of you who want to line up against me for having that position, well, we know what flags you're flying. The people who have a little bit of backbone, a little bit of integrity, start thinking about who and how you're willing to associate with people. I'm not saying who you can and can't be friends with, but I am saying that there's certain people who you shouldn't fucking leave your kids around.
There's also that cognitive dissonance idea that, have the guts to ask the hard questions and at least make your own inquiries and satisfy yourself. You can't abrogate responsibility for some of these really important things to others. And you can't pretend there's not a problem. So grow the fuck up and be a protector of your, when it's all said and done, when you've got kids, you've got an obligation to protect them. The world can be a dark and nasty place, and if there's any prospects that circumstances where you need to just put everything in place or put some protection up, then it's your job.
Absolutely, it's your job.
Take it.
And don't sit there and
And don't think that people are going to judge you. Like the people for taking that position are the very people that you do not want to be associated with.
I've got no problem with drawing this line in the sand.
Yeah,
and if I'm walking around at kids' footy and some people are going, oh fuck, don't want to talk to you because you said the following.
Yeah.
You might want to have a good hard fucking look in the mirror.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I can look in the mirror every day and I go, yeah, I got my pros and my cons, but I tell you what, I don't have any trouble sleeping at night. Yeah. But this is, some foul shit. I do have copies of this book and its sequel, written by the sister of the gentleman. I haven't even come out and named names of the kids that were involved in those false allegations. I haven't done it.
No.
Right, because they were fucking kids at the time. I was a kid at the time. I was in the same age group as the kids that were involved in this shit. That was a very poignant lesson for me on just how wrong lies and bullshit can go. And
you saw the underbelly of.
I saw the underbelly of the protection racket.
Yes.
I saw lies destroy a man to the tune of hanging himself in a fucking tree.
Yeah.
And then I saw the follow on of the individuals. I saw the aftermath. I was at the funeral in Sydney.
Yeah.
I still talk to the man's sister who wrote the books to this day, only at a moderate level. Obviously, what the hell do we have to talk about other than sad shit? Yeah. She thinks, she's all pushing the forgiveness train, and I don't know if I got much of that in me. I'm not really wired that way.
I can forgive people who will acknowledge what they've done and make a massive effort to right the wrongs. But people who won't acknowledge what they've done, well, there's no forgiveness available.
I don't look at the people involved in that. I mean, look, the copper. I run into him in a dark alley and we'll see how it goes. I don't really give a fuck. I don't know where he ended up. I hope he ended up in jail because where he belongs. But, as far as the kids particularly who had to live with that, go through that and realise in the back of their head, fuck, that's a huge, massive thing that's unfolded. It's massive. I haven't gone up to any of those people and gone, you're fucking scum, none of that shit, right? Because I don't want to hold.
There seems to have been a lot of peer group pressure, a lot of got caught up in
this sort of shit escalated so hard back then, and there was ironically no social media, but because he was an outlier, because he was a funny guy, he was he wanted to be a priest, he wanted to do good. Ended up being a school teacher because he didn't like the kiddie fiddling fucking bullshit that went on in that show. Well, where can I go and be good? I'll go and do some good, hopefully, as a school teacher. And I was one of those hard-headed kids. I got along real well with him. I don't know if it improved my grades or anything, like Christ only knows. But, I certainly never felt unsafe around him, and I never felt there was anything to be concerned about. But I just, look, anybody who wants the book, I'm not selling the book.
No.
I sell a lot of shit.
Informational.
I got all these books. I'm happy to pass them around. The only thing I ask is pass it forward onto the next person who wants those books. There are a couple of them out in circulation. I've still got a couple at the house. But it's serious shit. And I want people who are, when it's hard because if a woman makes false allegations, I think she should do the same amount of jail time as the falsely accused would have received.
Yes.
For said crime. Because fuck you for lying.
Yeah,
But I also think if you have raped, violated somebody, fuck you in the clink and none of this order of protection shit. Yeah, throw them in there with the blokes who are going to sort the fuck out of you. And same thing with this kiddie stuff. I just got no time for it. No. I don't care what consenting adults do in a bedroom. I don't fucking care. You want to have 20 boyfriends, 30 girlfriends, fucking parties. If you want to think you're an elephant, I really couldn't give a rat's ass. I do not care. So my conservative friends' heads all just exploded. I'm not a conservative. I don't claim to be. But adults who all choose to be involved can do whatever the fuck they want. Swing your little hearts out. Kids can't consent to that shit.
No,
you know,
that's why it's such the crime that it is, because it's taking advantage of people who can't protect themselves.
absolutely it
Yeah,
is.
and that's yeah.
And to see what's going on at the moment, I've seen some people who I expected a better response from disappoint me. I've seen people who I actually didn't expect a response from. Fuck, A grade. And as with this entire thing, I will be standing dead square there. I'm not in the middle of it. It's not my child per se, fortunately. Apparently
Obviously close enough.
he's not pretty enough. But you know, I'm
just one of those things. But
that's exactly. Look, I guess I'm twisting half a little millimeter of light in there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be right there for this child. And I don't give a flying fuck what the MO is. I don't care if you're 7 foot tall. I don't care if you carry guns. I really can give a shit. Whatever your whole, I just don't fucking care. I'll be standing there and I won't be going anywhere. And anybody who stands up will be more than welcome. And anybody who is cowardly enough to attack children, you can absolutely bet that as soon as this court case or this whatever has landed where it's landed, I'll be making a lot of fucking noise. So,
no, fair enough. I think you've given
lace your boots.
Fair warning.
I reckon they didn't get the message. I don't know. But yes, that's where it's at. So, and that's been stewing on me for this has been going for a couple of months now. Hearing now that adults are fucking targeting the kids, they can fuck right off. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have just let the system play its role. They haven't exactly covered themselves in glory dealing with this, but I understand there's processes, bullshit, and handcuffs sometimes on coppers with what they can and can't do.
Oh, that'd be the biggest frustration in that space, and I think it leads to a lot of job dissatisfaction with the police when they do actually have a pretty fair idea of what's going on, and they've got 90% of the evidence they need, but 10% of it's missing, and that prevents a prosecution.
Yeah,
I think that would be really really frustrating and take away a lot of the job satisfaction.
I reckon it would hurt your feelings a little bit.
Okay, not to diminish the seriousness.
No. We'll wind that topic up now, and we'll have a look at a couple of other things before we wind up for the night. But
yeah, we're going to.
I just thought I'd better blast that one out.
That's good. You always feel better getting it off your chest, and I think that the community needs to know that there are some things afoot, and if anyone comes across it, I think they're
call it out.
Yeah, call it out.
Call it out. Don't be afraid. And if somebody fucking gives you blowback, that's you. Give me a call. I'll stand next to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Now in other exciting, interesting things, we'll call it spin doctor related things.
Yes.
I've been working on a couple of little projects for us. I've had a couple of viewers have reached out saying, we should have merch.
Yes.
We should have, hats or t-shirts or something, which I thought was kind of
like Donald did, like Mark.
Yeah. They want, you and I on hats and whatever. No, which I thought that was kind of cute and kind of funny, right? I was a little bit flattered.
I thought if we were going to get hats or stuff like that merch, we'd just get one, like two.
Yeah, one each, and just look. As everybody who watches this knows, I spend a little bit of time trying to learn new skills with all this digital shit, right? Because I'm sure it's coming like a freight train. I suspect we're going to have an online merch store by the end of the month.
Yeah, right.
Now, there'll be a few different things. We're not going to carry any stock. I haven't worked out how we're going to, price it, make it work, because obviously I'm not paying for everybody's gear. You're not paying for everybody's gear, but if people want to do it, we're going to make sure that the money goes somewhere.
Yes.
Now,
to a good cause.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We'll have to come up with a good cause where, okay, so for example, if you buy a Spin Doctors t-shirt, and we're not going to see the money if we set this up properly. So we'll just have the couple of designs. They'll be on our online store, which viewers will be able to tune in and grab coffee mug and a hat and a t-shirt. That's as far as I've made it so far, just with Spin Doctors on it. Half tempted to put a couple of slogans together, but the idea will be that once, I don't know, if a coffee mug costs to produce that $8, and we're not going to hold stock, so you'll be ordering it directly online. Once it's produced, any profit margin will go to whatever charity we're going to have to come up with. And I'm open to suggestions for whatever charity. We're only going to do one
Yeah, yeah.
It gets too complicated if we try and please everybody. We're going to pick a charity.
But even it's got to be just something that's going to further the
What
causes.
we're trying
Yeah.
to what we're trying
So
to
it's got to
do.
be
So
something.
I'm putting it on the table for that reason
There
right
should be
now.
something in that space where we can actually provide some sort of a support service or some way to start to roll back some of this government shit fuckery.
Well,
Look, one thing I've done in recent days is I've put together a couple of notices of motion.
Yep.
That are going to the council meeting next week.
Yep.
One of them is regarding live streaming of the council meetings. Now, when you get the council meetings live streamed, it takes the ability for
the paper to paint a picture.
newspaper to paint their picture, and people can tune in and they can actually hear the argument, and they can sit there, and instead of it being a council decision and they go, oh well, yeah, that must have been a well debated argument and all those points must have been considered. No, they can actually hear for themselves when when someone puts forward a really valid point, but 8 people don't think
disagree with the valid point. The public, well, we think that was stupid, and they can go up to the councillors in person, because that's the beauty of local council.
That's exactly right, because you can see
the punter can go, I don't know, let's just for argument's sake, I'll pull Paul Marn's name out of a hat. And again, I've never had any dramas with Paul that I'm aware of.
But if there's something you hear Paul argue in a meeting,
and you go, I'm really Paul, I disagree with you. Yeah. I can see him down the street, and I go, Paul, how are you, mate? Fuck, I thought that was out of control. Where'd you come up with that shit?
Yeah.
Or you can go, fuck, that was a great idea. Have you got any more like that?
Yes.
And people can get councillors can get direct feedback as opposed to this hidden bullshit. 2, they can have positive or negative, and it also means that the community knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, so I think, and look, it's there. The majority of other councils do it. Temora are dragging their feet. Temora want this idea that they come out with a council decision and everyone agreed.
Oh, everybody's happy.
And all of the other alternative points are ignored.
Hmm.
And that's the wrong way to have it. You've got to have this open and transparent dialogue so that the community can understand how these decisions are arrived at.
Yeah.
My points regarding building a residence in the CBD didn't get the coverage that they should have in the local press.
Yes.
If people could hear my points being put forward in the meeting, then they can make their own mind up. They don't need Thomas Gosling telling them what to think.
Yeah. Well, this is what I've been told to tell you what you've got to think. But
yes, and I've been provided all of this feedback from the council, and basically it's
the council. One guy sends you a letter telling you
that's one that's coming up. And the other one that's coming up will be, as you're aware, I've had some feedback from some people, from an individual that copped a parking fine.
Oh yeah.
And when I went back and reviewed all of the regulatory reports, there was only 2 fines handed out in June and July in 2024. Then there were no fines handed out for the next 12 months, and then in June this year, 8 fines get handed out.
Yeah.
Now, the complaint was fair cop, overstayed the welcome, but
but the numbers don't add up. As all of a sudden we're going to enforce rules we've never bothered to enforce.
Yes,
and now all of a sudden we're going to go on a rampage and sting everybody who.
If I went to the pub after work tonight and had 8 schooners and jumped in my car and drove home and I got put on a random breath test and I went DUI, I would have absolutely zero grounds to say,
I didn't know.
That hasn't been enforced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're pretty consistent with it, I can tell you.
They are very consistent. If I was speeding, if I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So that's the thing. And when if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you get caught, you go, well, I got caught and I knew, and it's something that they get you for on a regular basis. So it's my fault.
Yeah.
But if everyone drove around and they got seatbelt offences once a week every 3 years, a lot of people would run around and just run the gauntlet, and they'd probably get slack and they'd stop wearing seatbelts.
I can tell you, I wouldn't wear a seatbelt if I didn't think, oh, fuck, I really can't afford another fine.
Yes. So there's a little bit of a carrot and stick type thing.
Absolutely,
if you just put the stick away forever, then pull it out and start flogging people. People go, "What's that for?"
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, that's right.
So my other notice of motion is along the lines of, if council are going to start enforcing something that they've got a bit of a reason to, or there's a little bit of an issue that's developed and they need to sort of take some enforcement action in that space, well, I've asked them to accompany that, or prior to the enforcement,
Loot some,
just some education.
we're gonna run a couple of campaigns in the newspaper saying don't park in no parking zones for an hour, because
we're going to
start as of this date.
We're going to start.
We've put it on all of our social medias. We've got the spin doctors to report on it for the sensible people in the community.
That is one area.
We've spoken to the Bugle.
If I'm aware that if they've said that they're going to be enforcing a certain action, I will make it a point
of putting it in this bubble of the world,
so that our viewers and they know, and then they can modify their behaviour so that they don't get surprised or
hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Yeah. And if they've had fair warning and they choose to act opposite to that, well, I'll have less sympathy. Now, I had a fellow come to me with a very serious complaint, and I thought it was very.
Wasn't me swearing when I'm cranky on the show, because I mean I do try it sometimes,
and it was very valid. Now, this is an individual who uses one of the sports facilities that council are starting to levy fees on, and he was a bit upset because council have started levying a fee on his use of the facility.
Right.
And he said, "But I don't get it. I've probably done $15,000 worth of work in kind on this facility, building it, and now they're sending me a bill to use the facility that I built with my own time."
Yeah, right. I'm guessing we're not going to talk about which facility or
we're
which
not going to talk about which facility or which person. That wouldn't be fair.
No. But I know from when I've been involved in sporting clubs, quite often volunteers go down and do an awful lot of stuff.
Well, this individual's done a hell of a lot of work, and basically he's of the mind. He said, "Look, I'm half inclined to send them a bill for all the work in kind I've done if they want to bill me
to use the park that I built."
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of.
There's an argument for that, and
and I think there's some
I still think it should be arguably put out to tender to companies to sponsor these places.
But even still, how? I can understand if you've got someone that's unrelated and haven't done any work in that space, and they come along and they want to set a business up and use a council
facility,
just use an oval, or they want to use something and make money out of it. You go, well, you've got to kick the can to pay for the upkeep.
Yeah, absolutely. I got no problem with that.
But
as I mentioned during the council,
if you then want to turn around and actually have this individual do a heap of work and work in kind and dedicate
and bill them for the privilege,
and then bill them to use the facility they've built.
That's how socialism works. It's all very complicated.
Well, I can understand why this person might feel a little bit.
I'd be pissed off,
upset.
I would be, yeah, absolutely.
And I do sympathise with them. So that's going to be. Now, even let's extrapolate this out. This devil's advocate stuff. We all know that the mayor waves the flags as a goal umpire.
I don't do any of that
for the AFL, but he gets paid.
I've had nothing to do with the AFL. I ride a place.
But as an official, the umpires.
Oh, the other mayor. Sorry, I get a little confused as who's running things sometimes.
Yeah, I got a little joke for you later, but anyway.
I like jokes. I got a sense of humour most of the time, sometimes.
But if they're going to start imposing fees on people who are deriving an income from these facilities, what happens when you've got Temora Aussie Rules Club are having a game of footy and they've got all these umpires turn up and these umpires get paid and derive income from running around on the facility?
No, they better cough up their money.
Well, do they have to?
Yes, they do.
There's just weird little things that haven't been sort of really thought through in the whole process.
And it's all complicated. And I guess even with it's not even my idea, let's be fair. It's been done in other places before. It gets done at sporting fields all over the world. Obviously, I'm trying to do it on a micro scale here locally. I could see how it could potentially work. But even that, I know it's fraught with challenges and problems. And finding the balance, I'm sending like you now. But finding the balance between me going full capitalist retard, i.e. Altura Ag can basically buy the park, pay the council a feed up, keep the upkeep, whatever. And then effectively sell not sell the park, but, advertise on the park and turn it into Altura Park for them if you want to, McDonald's fucking park.
Well, that's what they call the Equex. I'm sure they call it McDonald's Park in Wagga.
Yeah,
They're paid a fee for that.
And they pay for the naming right. And
we're not the ABC. We can say this stuff.
And that manages the upkeep and that does all those things. And I see a lot of value in it. Obviously, a small town, smaller scale. There's only 2 or 3 businesses that are probably big enough to fund outright the upkeep of Nixon Park and then the soccer ground or whatever. But I do still think that there is a room to do it and a way to do it. And, hitting up, I don't use a lot of council facilities. My kid uses a few, and I'm happy to, okay, is that part of the registration? Is that part of whatever? Okay, that's fine.
Well, we've got this quasi set up. Like, I grew up at Ganmode, and the footy ground over there is administered by a trust, and then the footy club will do all of the upgrades and upkeep of their own facility. Same thing, you go to Mara Footy Club.
Yeah.
You don't see a council bloke mowing the grass.
Yeah.
No, they've got their own mower and a volunteer comes up and does it. So they've got a lot of autonomy, though, in that space. Yeah. So they've kept their costs to a minimum.
Yeah.
All of the facilities they've got, they're responsible for.
Yeah.
And council have very limited input and very limited say. Here we've got this situation where
good to me.
Council have gone and injected themselves into the situation by
council, in my opinion and my view, which you're entitled to have a different one, should be nothing more than the landlords of these venues.
And the rest of it should be the club.
The club that is running it should be responsible for that particular field. If they must pay a fee, well, you factor that into
but the fee's going to be $15 a year or whatever it takes to do the paperwork.
Whatever it is for that to cover the cost of the upkeep or whatever.
No.
If council build, let's say the soccer club, because there's only one building there. Let's say the council paid for that. They didn't. They didn't. I know, because I was involved in heaps of fundraising for that.
Yeah, they fundraised, and also then they got a grant from the state government.
But let's just say, for argument's sake, the soccer club, the council owns the ground. And then the soccer club spends all that money voluntarily getting the facility up and running, as opposed to council owning that facility. Where's that line? How do we manage that line?
There's some sort of a transfer that occurs whereby council actually become the owner of that.
Yeah.
And then
council own that facility, despite the fact that the soccer club. So if council turns around, for argument's sake, they have to be world-class arseholes. Could happen. But if council turned around, to the best of my understanding, and said, sorry, soccer club, this is no longer deemed a soccer field.
Oh, they could do that.
We've decided no.
It's going to be a frisbee park.
It's going to be a frisbee-only park, and whatever else. We've decided, tough shit. Hand the keys over to the locker room that 40 years, 50 years worth of fundraising and soccer club membership have built this, the developments there. I know we did over toilets and renovations and stuff when I was heavily involved. Hang on a minute, that doesn't pass a pub test. So how do you make it so that arguably for example, while we're talking about the soccer club, could be the AFL, whatever, how do you make it so that soccer club becomes the trustee of that?
Well, that's it. That's where it's almost at the point. We're at this crossroad where council are trying to.
They want to divulge the costs, but they don't want to divulge the power of owning the.
That's right. They want to be able to tell everyone what to do, but they want everyone else to pay for the.
Yeah. I remember raising a shit ton of money for those great big lights down at the soccer club. I remember can't remember who we sent up there, Chris Marshall or somebody, and we were doing a heap of work to try and get those lights redone because they were all broken after 40 years or whatever it was. And I can't remember the exact. I'm sure Chris will yell at me about it when I get the detail wrong, because that's how he is. But, we did a lot of work down there, for the soccer club. I didn't do it for Temora Shire Council.
No,
I
no,
don't give a
no.
rat's ass about Shire Council per
Yeah,
se.
it's always for them.
It was for the club.
Yeah.
I was happy to put in that work for the club. When, you know, the little blokes playing league, if somebody asked me, can you help us do A?
Yeah.
Sure, for the club.
Yes.
That my kid is benefiting from being a part of, mostly benefiting from being a part of. I'm not going to do that because Temora Shire Council charges me exorbitant rates and then goes, by the way, you've got to pay this and you really should volunteer to help us do this because we're fucking hopeless at managing our own resources and we love to spend beyond our means.
Well, there's an element there where they're providing a facility that is sort of far in excess of what a lot of the users would want to pay.
Absolutely. It is.
So the only way that a user group can cut the costs is to increase their volunteer participation.
Absolutely.
And then are those people of a mindset to be able to do it?
Well, and you know what? And if they're not, I suppose that leaves room in a clause in there that sort of may, I don't know, you make it a 99-year lease for the soccer club.
One thing I saw at one club, I remember when one of my kids was playing tennis, and you paid a bond, and that bond was for your turn to umpire.
Yep.
Right? And if you never turned up, they'd use that money that you paid in bond
pay somebody else
to pay someone else to umpire.
Yeah.
So, and if you went and you turned up and you did your turn, you'd get your money.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty fair.
That's right. You put your hand up to do something and participate in something.
You've got to take your turn, and if you're not going to take your turn, you've got to pay some money so that someone else will do your turn.
Yeah. Well, I'm not opposed to those sort of things.
I thought was a pretty clever way to do it.
Look,
and that meant
there are a million clever ways to do it.
That meant that the poor buggers who were there stuck umpiring because they cared enough about it, and the other people who couldn't get away from work or for whatever reason.
Look, I'm sure I've missed plenty of canteen duty at rugby league, particularly this year.
Yep.
You know, Ryder plays. I'm a single dad who works Saturday mornings.
Yes.
I think I've seen him play 2 halves of a game.
Yes.
You know, would I be happy enough to go and help him set up a field? Sure, but I'm not in town.
Yeah.
Well,
it's got to be.
You know, like, I mean, and that's where, you know, look, if I had to turn around and pay a bond and then turn around and say, well, look, donate that money to the club for somebody else to do it, I'd be happy enough to kind of consider that, depending on the, again, structure and whatever, because I just can't be there.
Yes.
You know, that's just not how my life is structured.
But it also shows some recognition of the people who actually are.
Oh, and you know, like, look, I've got a volunteer of the year fucking certificate on the wall at home for the soccer club for those couple of years that I ran around like a maniac and did that, and that was great. You know, I earned every bit of it, sure. And when we've got these volunteers running around, very committed to these clubs, absolutely give them a trophy, whatever. No dramas with that whatsoever. I think it's clubs come unstuck real quick without them, but council still wants to be the boss.
That's right. Council want to have their cake and
all control.
Yeah, they want
you're very naughty. You must come to our sports council meetings and kiss the ring.
Yeah,
fuck off.
Yeah, well, the sports council is only a committee of council.
Well,
so you know, it's not.
Yeah. Look, what a load of rubbish, and you know,
there is a little bit of control being exerted in that space. And I'm finding it hard. I'm finding it hard to rationalise that.
I think I've got a life ban from there, mate.
The story that I've just told you, where an individual's put in a huge amount of work in kind, and he's now being levied at cost to use the facility that he built.
Yeah.
With the work in kind, I'm sort of with him when I'm going.
Send us a bill.
Send
it in the bill. You might as well.
If you want me to pay fees for what I've built, I'll give you a bill for building it.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I can understand that logic.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to hear how that's argued when it actually comes up. I haven't got a forum at the moment where that can be raised, but there will be discussions around the fees and charges, and that'll be when this matter's raised. And I think it's a pretty fair point. This person was a little bit upset, and I can understand that.
I would be too.
Yeah.
And you know, and Yeah, I'd be sending him a bill. But
Yeah.
look, I remember. I'm sure I've got a life ban from sports council meetings while ever the mayor's still alive or whatever the case may be. Not that I really give a shit because I've no interest in going to those meetings.
It'll be written in a stone tablet somewhere.
It'd be, yeah. I don't know. However, will I cope with life? But this, I sat there spewing, listen to this gibbering nonsense about, well, are we all going to share what the other sporting clubs are up to and hold hands and sing? I don't fucking care about any of this crap. I'm not involved in the Tiddlywinks Club because I don't care about Tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be involved in the soccer club. I don't care what the AFL club's necessarily doing. The AFL club, in turn, doesn't give a shit what I'm doing.
No.
And the cricket club can do whatever it likes. And if I want to be involved in all of them, I'll be involved in all of them, or I'll pick and choose the ones I'm interested in. The fact that we want to force all these people in some bullshit meeting under the auspices and benevolent rule of our beloved council, it's just farcical crap. Like, what a waste of time every month.
Well, it's just a control mechanism, and I don't know whether the outcomes, like, there's a valid argument for facilities that have got a shared use, and there's a valid argument when you've got say the rugby league club, the cricket club, and the Aussie Rules Club all using.
Yeah. There's got to be obviously worked out some agreements there as to who's responsible for what.
Nixon Park, for example, you've got the Aussie Rules Club, you've got junior and senior, you've got the rugby league club, you've got
Little A's, you've got
netball, you've got cricket.
Sure.
You've got a lot of.
It's a shared facility.
It's a shared
How
facility.
are you going to make it work?
Yeah, so you do have to have, and you do have to have some things written in. Like, you can't really quite often there's a period there where they want to install the rugby league goalposts.
Yeah.
At the start of the season. Well, that's at the end of the cricket season, and obviously they have to wait until the end of the cricket finals before they can do that. And there has to be a little bit of communication between the groups to make that work, and there has to be, there has to be communication. There's when the Aussie Rules Club have their gala days and they have a combined day with the juniors and the seniors there together, they'll play some junior matches in the younger grades on the rugby league ground.
Yeah.
So there has to be some cooperation there between the codes and some understanding and just a bit of just rights of way.
Yeah, for sure. Of course.
But like you say, for the soccer club who have got their own standalone facility that's
and the cricket club use that in summer, I believe, or one of them, right?
Yes.
Cricket Association.
Yeah, so you could have a simple meeting at the start of each year with them, and that'd be, you don't have to go to sports council.
Absolutely. Have one meeting at the start of the year. We go, right, what's your schedule looking like?
Well, here's our calendar.
Here's yours. What do we need to do? Oh, okay, cool. Well, at that period of time, we might need to share the dressing sheet. Okay, cool. No problem. Can you guys clean up after yourself when you finish? No doubt some arsehole won't. And the other guy will come in and go, oh, the bastards. And they'll sweep it up. Whatever. It's seriously like, what a lot of nonsense. But
it's put together for people who like to go to meetings.
I hate meetings. I fucking really do. I hate all of them.
All right, so I've got a meeting next week, but I'll be here after that. And then after that, I'm getting in my car. I'm going to Sydney to NCAT on the Friday.
That'll be fun. Yes.
That'll be worth doing.
Did I send you the draft of our new newsletter?
No,
I didn't. Okay, I'll have to send through the draft. Because I do fuck all day while selling 100 cars in 100 days and running pest control businesses and fucking getting cranky with other people. I've also been working on a newsletter, a Spin Doctors newsletter. Now, I'm still working on structures. I don't really feel like I want to charge anybody money for it.
No.
But I also look at it and kind of go, because we do have people who say to us, oh, we'd love to pay money for it. And I kind of go, I'll work my clacker off for my money. Thanks very much. If you want to donate to Team Dean, come and buy a car.
Yes.
Get me to spray your house. Whatever. Right. That's how you donate to Team Dean. Team Irvine's probably buy a sign, rent a cherry picker, whatever the case may be. But I do look at it when people say things like that, and I go, again, if we can come up with the right charity or the right group.
If anyone's got ideas, I'm all ears. Send it through to my email. Wherever you're going to find me. I'm everywhere. It's fine. I don't post. I'm not on TikTok. But now I'm getting a hard time about not being on TikTok. When you talk about this stuff, if there was any way that you could set up some sort of a fund to help people battle some of the injustices or the stupidity put before them by government authority.
Yeah. How do we set up a slush fund for
Well, not a slush fund, an actual
and
a fighting fund. So
fighting fund's a better word.
yeah,
Sure.
people can defend themselves in some of these matters because it's a really uneven space. And generally, if you have an instance where you're in conflict with the council,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Pepsi, multinational company, won a court case recently against the Australian Tax Office.
Well, I'm cheering for Pepsi. Fuck the tax office.
Now, let me just get the figures, but I think it was something like $29 million.
Well, so while you're finding the figures there, so the idea, guys, is again, I'm learning all this technology 100 mile an hour. I've discovered that I can create a newsletter that can arguably be mailed out weekly, fortnightly, monthly, whatever I like. It can go straight to your email, mail address, as you see fit, sort of thing. There, it is possible to monetize these things, but I don't want to monetize it for me. I've got this disability, like, again, you can buy the things you can buy the products that I've been designing. You can participate in some of the stuff there. There is stuff that I do that I monetize for sure. Like, I'm a capitalist, but there's also certain things that I think that people deserve to know. I'm never going to monetize this live stream. Certainly not for my financial benefit. If we were to monetize it, it would have to be for like a fighting fund or a charity of some sort. I think that sort of thing is important. But it's you guys that drive this to a point. Send me an email, send me a message, put it in the chat. Let me know, because do we do a newsletter weekly? The other part with the newsletter idea is there's other people of similar volition. I'd love to get an article out of Andrew Thaler.
Yes.
To contribute to, Andrew just submits it. It would involve the contributors of said articles all taking personal ownership of a bit like Councillor Irvine's spiel at the start of every program. I'm Andrew Thaler. I'm not a councillor of Doonan Spin Doctors.
Yes.
The words written here before you are mine and my own, and I take full responsibility for them. I've just, shared them on this particular platform, something along those lines. Not that I'm trying to force you to do anything you don't want to do, Andrew, but, I know there's a lot of people in the space who are looking for those little platforms and little ways to do it. And arguably, I guess a little all-star cast of outlaws sending something out to the people at some way, shape or form could do okay.
Basically, Pepsi have taken on the ATO. Now, good on you, Pepsi, because you got the money to be able to do it, and they've won.
Yeah.
Now, I can't find any meaningful content on that because it's such a fresh thing, and it's behind a paywall to read the story that I want to read. Of course it is. But
I don't want to put anything we're doing behind a paywall.
No.
I do want to make it possible for people to, donate to whatever.
But the problem here is, whenever you take, like, the average guy just hasn't got the powder.
No, God, no.
When they actually are challenged and when they're met on the field with someone the same size as them,
they shit bricks and
quite often they get beat.
Crumple like cheap suits.
So, it would be nice to be able to put some, even if there was the formation of some sort of a support network whereby you can have access to some advice provided by people in a certain space, or
a bit like Katie Fenton's, firearms fund and whatever. Except I don't want to do it like a GoFundMe.
No.
I'd like to do it like you're part of this. This is where we're going as a group.
Certainly. I think that'd be invaluable if people could get. And
so
I don't need bullshit advice where someone comes along and says, yes, we can win this case for you and give us 50 grand and give us all the money that you've collected.
No, I want people boots on the ground and skin in the game. But, so we're working on that little merch thing. We're working on the article, the newsletter thing. What I will probably do is, again, once I reckon it's looking like something that I think will be a show, good councillor and I'll sort of run over it and we'll go, right, guys, anybody who's interested in maybe getting the first copy, send me through that email address and just say, put me on this mailing list or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll sort of tune you in on it as happens. So that's pretty exciting.
On that note,
yeah,
this stuff we're doing, I believe anyone who's tuned into this and anyone who's watching this, we are really at ground zero with this movement that is pushing back against the control that's being imposed. I got a text through from a guy in Tasmania this afternoon.
Yeah.
Now, there's a general manager down there who's put a couple of the ratepayers from a certain council on a watch list.
A watch list?
Because
I'd better be on it.
He suspects they may disrupt a meeting. So they turned up to a council meeting this week, and the mayor, they actually...
The mayor pooed himself,
no,
had to change his nappy.
They actually adjourned the meeting, withdrew from the chamber, called the cops. The cops came and actually escorted these people out of the chamber.
On what basis?
Trespass. And
how can you trespass in a public building? Please explain to me how you can trespass in a fucking council chambers building. I'm a ratepayer, therefore I own this shit. If I want to be in there, I'm going to be in there.
I understand. And that doesn't cut it when they're putting your arm up behind your back and putting the cuffs on.
Oh, listen, I've had that experience.
So the thing is, and this is the information that's came from the fellow from Tassie.
Yeah.
At last night's, so this came through
now, just before, while you're looking for that, we're about 4 minutes. Otherwise, we can't. Otherwise, we can't cut it and drop it.
He said, at last night's council meeting, Kentish mayor called a 15-minute recess at 6:03, with her and councillors leaving the chamber. Then she came back and postponed the meeting till 7. 4 police officers arrived to request 2 people, the band electors, to leave under the threat of trespass. This was with around 15 people and journalists in the all caught on 4 Corners film, who were in the area that after the day before, filming and questioning various people about the toxic culture, etc., within the council. So it'll be interesting just to see if 4 Corners can put together something. We all know when you explore this space that there is a huge amount of toxicity in this. It's a very
it's intense. Yeah, absolutely.
So it needs to be called out. There needs to be some changes made. I think we're the first early
adopters to where it's at.
And I think there's a lot of people in the community who didn't even know this stuff was as bad as it is.
Yeah.
And I think we're helping to open their eyes to it.
Yeah.
And I think there is certainly starting to become some sort of a movement that are very anti this type of behaviour. And the sooner we get accountability, transparency, live stream meetings, some proper processes in place, and break down a lot of this toxicity and this poor culture that's developed, and take the power back to the elected representatives who are the councillors representing their constituents, then the sooner we'll have something that's a bit more meaningful in this space.
Takes time.
Yes.
I look forward to the day when, if you or I aren't here, somebody else takes the seat. Or if we do get a newsletter up and running, somebody else goes, I've got 2 articles for you guys this week.
I only hope that we provide some sort of clearance for people to come in behind us and they at least feel protected enough to be able to speak their mind.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Yeah. Always a pleasure. Been a hell of a show, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got ideas on that merch, on that newsletter, on any of that type of stuff, please reach out. We don't do this for, we could have far more peaceful lives without this shit. I have no doubt about it. But tune in next week, 7:30 Thursday, Spin Doctors. Check out Councillor Irvine's Stand Up for Temora Anthony Irvine page, Dean McRae's Spirit of Self-Determination, our YouTube channel. Get on there and give it a like and a share, and we'll see you all next week.
All right.